Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief program. Today, we have a mix of judicial drama, cultural celebrations, and market movements to keep you informed and entertained. First up, 7 prominent pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong have lost their final appeal to overturn their convictions related to the 2019 anti-government protests. This marks another significant moment in the ongoing political climate of the city. Next, let's dive into something a bit lighter. An exhibition celebrating the lovable Japanese manga character Doraemon has attracted a whopping 5 million visitors and generated 9-figure revenues in Hong Kong. Talk about a cultural phenomenon. Lastly, Hong Kong stocks have dipped, breaking a 3-day winning streak, with casino operators and local developers feeling the heat. The Hang Seng Index lost 0.2%, showing that even the markets have their ups and downs. Please stay tuned for more details on these stories and much more. Keep watching for the full scoop. The Globe and Mail, 7 of Hong Kong's most prominent pro-democracy activists, including Jimmy Lai and Martin Lee, failed to overturn their convictions at the city's top court on Monday, stemming from their roles in the massive 2019 anti-government protests. These convictions, linked to a rally that drew an estimated 1.7 million people, were upheld despite a partial victory last year when a lower court quashed the charge of organizing an unauthorized assembly. The activists, already having served their sentences, remain in custody due to additional charges under a Beijing-imposed national security law. This law, criticized for stifling dissent, was deemed necessary by Beijing and Hong Kong governments to restore stability post-protests. The Toronto Star, on Monday, Hong Kong's top court dismissed the final appeal of 7 leading pro-democracy activists, including Jimmy Lai and Martin Lee, for their involvement in the 2019 protests. Their convictions, upheld despite a partial appeal victory last year, were for participating in an unauthorized assembly that saw 1.7 million people march for police accountability and democracy. The activists, sentenced to varying jail terms, have already served their time. However, they remain detained under a stringent national security law imposed by Beijing, which has significantly curbed public dissent. The 2019 protests marked the most significant challenge to the Hong Kong government since the 1997 handover, but the movement has since dwindled due to arrests, exiles, the pandemic, and the security law. South China Morning Post, the organizer of a Hong Kong exhibition celebrating the beloved manga character Doraemon, lauded the event as a stellar example of cross-sector cultural collaboration, drawing 5 million attendees and proving profitable. Lam Shukam, founder of All Rights Reserved, emphasized the need for industries to rethink collaboration to support the government's push for a culture-backed mega events economy. The 100% Doraemon and Friends tour featured partnerships with entities like the MTR Corporation and K11 Museum Mall, and included themed culinary experiences, drone shows, and extensive promotional campaigns. The event, which generated 9 figures in revenue, demonstrated that cultural events could be commercially viable and suggested a blueprint for future large-scale cultural initiatives in Hong Kong. South China Morning Post, Hong Kong stocks experienced a slight dip, ending a 3-day winning streak, primarily due to declines in the casino and property sectors. The Hang Seng Index fell by 0.2% to 17,060.06, with the tech index dropping 0.9%. Major casino operators like Galaxy Entertainment and Sands China saw significant losses ahead of their earnings reports. Local developers like Henderson Land and New World also suffered, driven by concerns over new project launches affecting home prices. Despite signs of easing from China's central bank, risk-aversion sentiment remains high, making it challenging for global funds to flow back into local markets. Meanwhile, other Asian markets, including Japan's Nikkei 225 and South Korea's Kospi Index, saw gains. South China Morning Post, After a stretch of sunny days, Hong Kong was hit by heavy rains and thunderstorms, prompting the Hong Kong Observatory to issue an amber rainstorm warning early Monday morning. The city braced for a week of unsettled weather due to upper air disturbances and a southwesterly airstream affecting the Guangdong coast. The forecast indicated showers and thunderstorms would persist throughout the week, with temperatures ranging between 26 and 32 degrees Celsius. Residents were advised to seek safe shelter as intense gusts and heavy downpours were expected to continue, disrupting the previously clear skies. South China Morning Post: Cathay Pacific Airways has come under scrutiny as the Hong Kong government expresses impatience with the airline's recovery pace amidst the opening of the city's third runway. Despite Cathay's plans to invest over 100 billion Hong Kong dollars in fleet expansion and upgrades, government officials seem eager to explore other carriers to meet new capacity demands. The airline's slower-than-expected recovery has been cited as a concern, although Cathay has managed to recover to 80% of its pre-COVID capacity and aims for full recovery by early next year. The airport authority reported that passenger traffic is projected to return to pre-pandemic levels by the end of the year. The government's anxiety over Hong Kong's aviation status is palpable, but Cathay's substantial recovery efforts and financial contributions suggest it should not be scapegoated for broader industry challenges. South China Morning Post reports that Chinese property developers Kaisa Group and Times China Holdings, who collectively defaulted on $15 billion of offshore debts, are facing a critical juncture as they prepare to battle creditors in court. Kaisa Group, which has been trying to restructure $12 billion of bonds and other borrowings since late 2021, is under intense scrutiny as it has yet to present a debt workout plan. The High Court has warned that there is no excuse for further adjournments if no progress is shown. Meanwhile, Times China Holdings, with 110 billion yuan in total liabilities, has reached an agreement with an ad hoc group of offshore creditors to restructure $2.9 billion of offshore debt. The court proceedings highlight the broader crisis in China's property market, which has seen at least $100 billion in defaults since 2020. Other developers, including state-backed Sino-Ocean Group, are also grappling with similar existential threats as they face demands from creditors. In another report by South China Morning Post, Beijing and Hong Kong leader John Lee Ka-chiu have lauded the city's Olympic athletes for their remarkable performance in Paris, where they won 2 gold and 2 bronze medals. The Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office praised the athletes for embodying the Lion Rock spirit, a term that captures the resilient and enterprising attitude of Hong Kong people. Swimmer Siobhan Haughey made history by winning bronze in both the 100m and 200-meter freestyle events, while apiist Vivian Kong Man Wai and fencer Chung Kalong also secured gold medals. Lee expressed his heartfelt congratulations and highlighted the government's increased funding for sports development, which has more than doubled over the past decade. He emphasized the importance of continued support for Hong Kong athletes, particularly with upcoming events like the 2024 Paris Paralympic Games, and expressed confidence in their future success. Meanwhile, the South China Morning Post also discusses the growing trend of curating coffee table books as a sophisticated interior styling tool. Interior stylist Pierre Jerigian Shiver notes that books have evolved from mere reading material to key elements in home decor, reflecting personal interests and style. Renowned publishers like Asulin and Taschen have capitalized on this trend, producing visually striking books that are as informative as they are attractive. Experts suggest that coffee table book arrangements should be eclectic and visually engaging, incorporating objects like small plants, pottery, and even board games to create dynamic displays. The trend has extended beyond coffee tables to other parts of the home, including kitchens and bathrooms, where light-hearted selections like cookbooks and travel books can add a playful touch. The key to effective styling is to keep the displays fresh and exciting, rotating books and objects to maintain visual interest. South China Morning Post, Hong Kong shopping centers experienced a significant increase in foot traffic of up to 20% during the Olympic Games, driven by live streaming events and various promotions. Henderson Land Development's Augustine Wong Homing noted that the surge surpassed their expectations, attributing the boost to the summer holidays coinciding with the Games. Despite the challenge of time differences between Paris and Hong Kong, which limited the viewing of some key matches, the overall impact was positive. The Jockey Club's Athlete Incentive Award scheme also played a role by awarding cash prizes to medal-winning Olympians like fencers Chung Ka-long and Vivian Kong Man Wai, and swimmer Siobhan Haughey. Henderson Land's new Breaking New Ground initiative aims to support young athletes and those retiring from sports, emphasizing the importance of cultivating a sports culture within the community. Other developers like Sino Group and Sun Hung Kai Properties also reported significant increases in foot traffic and sales during the Games, thanks to extensive promotional campaigns and live broadcasts. South China Morning Post, Hong Kong's property market is set to see the launch of nearly 10,000 new flats in 24 projects by the end of the year, despite high interest rates dampening demand. Developers sold about 48% of the 9,911 units offered in the first 7 months of the year, with a robust long-term supply forecasted. High interest rates, which are at a 23-year high, and a supply glut are keeping home prices in check. Developers like Henderson Land and Sun Hung Kai Properties are adopting strategies to prioritize sales volume over pricing. Henderson Land plans to introduce 5 new residential projects, while Sun Hung Kai Properties has sold units worth 17 billion Hong Kong dollars this year. Analysts believe that potential interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve could stimulate buyer interest and boost sales. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority has also eased mortgage financing measures to support the market. Developers are expected to continue launching new projects to meet market demand, despite a recent decline in home sales. South China Morning Post, Hong Kong's fintech community is expanding its reach and influence in the Greater Bay Area, GBA, and strengthening ties with Shenzhen, according to Lorena Wong, the new chair of the Fintech Association of Hong Kong, FTOC. The association plans to elevate its relationship with Shenzhen's fintech community and will visit Huawei's R&D Institute in Dongguan in September. The FTOC aims to have a stronger presence in the GBA, leveraging opportunities from the Wealth Management Connect schemes. The association has grown rapidly, with 270 corporate members as of September 2023. Governments on both sides of the border have introduced measures to support fintech growth, including a pilot trial for cross-border credit checks using blockchain technology. The FTOC is also focusing on attracting more mainland Chinese members and increasing its Mandarin language offerings. Last year, the association facilitated connections with fintech communities in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, aiming to be the voice of GBA fintech on the global stage. Wong, the first female chair of FTOC, brings extensive experience from her previous roles at DBS Bank Hong Kong and HSBC. South China Morning Post, Nobel-winning economist Michael Spence, a prominent figure in information economics and an advisor to various investment firms, delves into China's economic future amidst technological evolution and trade tensions. Spence envisions a gradual decline in China's role as the world's factory, predicting a dispersed manufacturing landscape influenced by China's growth and the rise of other economies like India. He emphasizes China's heavy investments in innovation, which could drive substantial growth internally, but warns that global economic contraction could have adverse effects on all economies, including China. Hong Kong's status as an international city remains, albeit with increased Chinese governance, while China faces deflationary pressures and weak demand due to a property market crisis. Spence suggests that restoring aggregate demand and clarifying the private sector's role are crucial for economic recovery. On the topic of de-dollarization, Spence notes an increase in the use of the Chinese yuan for trade settlement, though the US dollar remains the primary reserve currency. He discusses the Belt and Road Initiative's potential amidst geopolitical tensions and the West's concerns about China's overcapacity. Spence also highlights China's leadership in solar, electric vehicles, and battery technology, despite Western trade barriers. He predicts that AI will significantly boost productivity across economies, with China potentially overcoming computing power obstacles. Spence underscores the importance of policy in ensuring the widespread adoption of AI technologies, which could enhance inclusiveness and social impact, as exemplified by companies like Surfin. He concludes with a call for global cooperation to address the risks and opportunities presented by AI advancements. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Rise and fall, giants bleed, our call. Is wrong, still and fight, workers sweat, endless night, stubborn and surge, shadows bled, rise of empires no end, dragons realm, blood and steel, screams unheard, prophets real, in boardrooms cold, fortunes made, workers fate, in the shade. War, silent fight, cradles burn, like a night, through the storm, the ugly, economic power, move the steam, contract sign, trails deep, backroom deals, falls asleep, right bombs echo, breeds insatiable cry. In this mental wasteland, dreams die. Like a sweat, endless night, stubborn surge, shadows bled, rise of empires no end, dragons realm, blood and steel, screams unheard, prophets real, in boardrooms cold, fortunes made, workers fate, in the shade, curtain war, silent fight, cradles burn, like a night, through the storm, the ugly, economic power, move the sea, curtain war, silent fight, cradles burn, like a night, through the storm, the ugly, workers fate, in the shade. Curtain war, silent fight, cradles burn, like a night. Through the spawn, the ugly, economic power moves the sea. Contract sign, betrayals deep, backroom deals, folks asleep, and bombs echo, breeds insatiable cry. In this metal wasteland, dreams die. Contract sign, Israel's deep, backroom deals, vultures sleep, platforms echo, breeds insatiable cry. In this metal wasteland, trees die. Isaac sees, nation law, future built, sleeps. Waste your gutter, see if it's